If you think we're still living in the past, watch this video to the end. I think we are living in a new era of Republic of Turkey. I think old Turkey is gone, and I think things are moving very fast now. I hear a lot of news about officials, authorities writing tickets left and right, writing penalties, and those penalties are huge. We're talking about in millions of lira. It was recently it came to my attention. There was a business, and I'm talking about actually a neighbor, a pretty close friend. Her daughter having a business with her husband. What is happening is officials are checking personal, physical person IBAN. IBAN is the bank account which people have. Now they're not only checking the business accounts, they're checking the personal accounts of those who have businesses. And I suspect that soon they will be checking more broadly. For now, they just focused on that because it brings quite a bit of money into treasury. So after checking that particular account, they had written them penalty 150,000 Turkish lira. And I suspect it's not the only isolated case. I think most people are embarrassed about that. They don't talk about it very far. It was sort of like a personal confidence that I will not reveal who it is and how it is, and most people wouldn't know. I'm sure they wouldn't. But the fact is, this is not the isolated case, and that's not the only case. I know a few other cases which I'm going to share with you now. Another case which I've heard that is also business. And we're talking about pretty large business that is not known to me whether it is foreigners or it is local citizens. I suspect that for now the government will be checking mostly people who are entrenched in Turkey, people who've been doing business for a while, and they're checking for money which is passing by the cash register. So this particular business, they started checking the IBAN, and the guy, the owner, was clean. There was nothing in there. But then when they start checking his wife, and apparently wife was not co-owner, they just simply decided to check the family, and they found huge transaction number going through her IBAN. So they were actually written the penalty for 3 million Turkish lira. That's huge. They're not really like unselective. They know how much person can funnel, and they probably calculated. That's what I suspect. It was unheard of because remember, like 3 years ago, I told you that I've seen people walking into bank with literally the bag or like a grocery bag of cash. There were a lot of cash going through the banks, and those were presumably real estate transactions. But grandma would be carrying the case or would be carrying a bag full of cash. It's safe in Turkey in general. You hear once in a while that people would steal, but in general it's pretty safe. So comfortably, person would take cash and bring it to the bank. How it is exposed or how it is recorded for tax purposes, I don't know. But that is gone. This is the old Turkey. Now we have Turkey here, and people are really looking for those who evade taxes, and they're writing penalties. They're not going to jail yet. I don't think there is really jail time for that. Also, in Western countries, it's been forever, and one can go to jail for a lot less than what it is in Turkey now. Nevertheless, this is something to be very concerned. If you are the business owner, if you plan to have a business, you have to consider that how you're going to do it, how you're going to conduct. It's your business. But the authorities now, under new Minister of Finance, are looking for all sorts of ways to fill up the treasury. And another news for those people who use their car for making money, meaning they are playing a role over illegal taxi. There is a new stricter penalties for those who carry people around town as a taxi without license. The government lists several different problems with that. Besides the obvious, where people making money not paying taxes, there is also a public safety issue. The old law, they actually made that law harsher not very long ago, and one of the penalties was impounding car for 60 days, but apparently did not really have a much effect on the practice. Now there will be a lot stricter law, and that means revoking the driver's license for a year or so, equal to the law about, I think, driving under influence, etc. If you are one of those people who doing the illegal taxi work, beware of that. I'm not giving you the full listing of what that law is supposed to do because it's of no interest to me. I'm just sharing the news with you. And if you do that, you go and check what you will be facing if that is the case for you. Remember to subscribe, leave the comments, and share this video to those people who may need to hear this information. Overall, those things seem to be sporadic. Overall, those things seem to be isolated. But I think what we are facing right now in Republic of Turkey is a completely different approach to collecting money for treasury. It is a Western approach, and it started already a while ago, and it continues. So instead of running the inflation, and inflation still runs pretty high, but the idea is instead of running the inflation to cover the commitments by the government for social, whatever the services, whatever they spend the money on, the commitment now is to collect taxes due. And I think that is exactly what the tax office is doing. And you have to be careful because what I just told you, it's very obvious, but there are some less obvious cases which may apply to some other people. And we're all pretty much living in this country, we're transacting in one way or another. If you, for instance, exchanging the cryptocurrency just privately and you have some money going in and out, that probably will eventually come to scrutiny. And it happened before already. I think last year the government started looking into accounts of those people who play with cryptocurrency and transacting it. I don't know how wide, I don't know what kind of a labor force the tax office in Turkey has, but they're looking at that. If you have any questionable transactions, just know that the government probably will be looking at them. And in the new age of AI, artificial intelligence, it will not be horribly difficult. I think you can create some kind of program which will go and look. Maybe banks will resist it. Maybe the government will not go that far. Maybe they will be satisfied with just shaking down the businesses and private individuals which are connected to those businesses. The other thing is very important. Know that there are new penalties for rental properties. Now, all the commercial property rentals have to be transacted through banking system, not via cash, but rather through transactions which can be traced electronically. And as far as the non-commercial residential rental, if it is over 500 Turkish lira, it is also supposed to be transacted electronically. There are some other restrictions. I talked about it. You can look on my channel. You can look at other channels. You can look for some other sources of information. The government has right now, I think, 3 very definite areas which they are looking at. One of them is real estate rental. And probably soon they will be really carefully looking at sales and buying property. It's quiet right now because the business is quiet, because the market is not as hot as it's used to be. It's warming up, but it's not as hot. Illegal taxing, that is also looked at because that's pretty widespread and there are lots of people in Turkey who are employed in this area. Recently, finally, we can order a taxi through Yandex.Go. If you have not tried it, you can download that app. That's a legal app. You can register, you can call upon taxi, you can tell them the address, and taxi should arrive there and take you where you're going. Because before that, we lived in a literary stone age where we would have to go to the street and push the yellow button, and that button would call the taxi, and you would know if it arrives or not. Because I've been stuck several times, especially during the high traffic time. You can push that button as many times as you want, nobody comes because they're all busy, and you don't know if they're coming. You just stand there like stump, and you don't know what's going to happen. Now it's a little bit better, it's a little bit closer to what it is all around the world right now. We still don't have Uber in the way it is in Europe or United States or any other country pretty much in the world right now. Here in Turkey, they still restricted to taxi because that gives a lot of employment to people. As a consumer, it's probably not very convenient, but the government has its own reasons. Yeah, now you can order it to your door. And the other thing is car sharing. As I told you, you can download the car sharing app, you can register, you can satisfy registration requirements, and you can start using car sharing instead of using taxi. It's a lot by far cheaper, and that also already hit the car rentals. They have to become more competitive. That's good news. And the third part, which we're talking about, that is businesses. As I said, if you have a business, if you transact in some way and you're receiving cash on the side, under the table, by the cash register, that's one thing. But if you actually receiving money, substantial amount of money traceable on your personal IBAN, you're probably gonna get in trouble. That's just what it is. That's a new reality. Maybe there will be something more, but for now, that's all I've heard, and I hope it will be helpful for you. Good luck.